In my video on Dublin's Dart Plus and Metrolink projects, I described it as Europe's most ambitious transit project, a comment that did get some discussion. I felt it gets that title based on the difference between the present day and what service would be like when completed. If we're just talking about the scale of a project, then Paris wins, no question. The Grand Paris Express is a gigantic expansion of the Paris Metro that deservedly gets a lot of attention. But I think what it's sometimes forgotten is the genuinely impressive list of things Paris is also doing alongside it, something that deserves a video. So here we go. Every transit expansion that Paris is doing except the Grand Paris Express. But I guess it would be good to at least touch on it first. The Grand Paris Express is a project that will add 4 new metro lines and 68 stops to the Paris Metro, alongside a major expansion of a 5th, sort of. Line 15 will be an orbital route extending beyond the traditional city outskirts, built as a Circle Line style spiral from Champigny-Centre to Noisy-Champs. Line 16 will continue from Noisy-Champs and go further out to around Saint-Denis-Pleyel. Line 17 goes from Meilly-Amelot through Charles de Gaulle Airport, also terminating at Saint-Denis-Pleyel. Line 18 will begin south at Paris-Orly and skirt south to Versailles-Chantier, with provision for later extension to Saint-Denis too. All lines will be fully automated, and stations are heavily integrated into other forms of transport. The overall aim of the Grand Paris Express is to enhance non-city centre journeys around Paris. Okay, I think that's everything. Now for the long list of other projects. Line 14 is the sort of part of the Grand Paris Express. Sometimes it's considered to be part of a project, sometimes it isn't. But regardless, Line 14 is being extended on both sides. On the north, it's going to Saint-Denis-Pleyel. Part of this extension is in fact already open, with the section from Saint-Lazare to Marie de Saint-Antoine opening at the end of 2020. Only a short hop away is Saint-Denis, which I believe will open when the other Grand Paris Express lines reach it. On the south side is a line that will hopefully be opening soon, Olympiade to Orly, with 7 stops total. On top of making Line 14 a true automated north-south line, it also notably makes it a line that will interchange with every other Grand Paris Express line. A small extension of Line 1 is proposed, taking it from the current termini of Chateau de Vancey to the RER-A-E and future Line 15 and T1 stop at Val de Fontenay, with 2 stops in between. This line has not been funded at present. Line 11 is currently undergoing a 2-phase extension. The first part goes from Mairie de Lila to Rosny-Bois-Pierrière, currently served by Lines E and P, and a future stop on the Grand Paris Express's Line 15. This bit notably includes a section on a viaduct with an elevated section, plus a new depot for the line. In the long term, a further extension across many towns to Noisy-Champs, a Line 15A and 16 stop is also in the plans. Line E is the only RER line that terminates within the Paris core, but that is due to change. From Saint-Lazare, it will travel west to La Défense before travelling to Huilliers, Carrière-sur-Seine. From there, it takes over what is currently the Mantes-les-Jolis branch of Line J. Paris's BRT efforts don't get much acknowledgement, despite having a few noteworthy lines. Notably, the TVM and 393 both have dedicated busways along their entire routes, which are shared by many other local lines. Paris seems keen to take that model elsewhere in the city, with some projects that came to give dedicated bus lanes for services below BRT standards, as seen here, plus others that will be, which I will focus on. A consistent name for these things still pending. The Bourg de Marne BRT project aims to introduce a joint BRT and cycling corridor from Val de Fontenay, RER-A-E and future Line 15 T1 and potential Line 1, to Chelles-Gournay for the RER-E, P and future Line 16. This line, like others in Paris, is aimed to have both a dedicated BRT service and to speed up other local buses that use the route, along with improving cycling connections. The EVE, or Esprit Val d'Europe, is precisely that, a dedicated BRT and bike path that begins at Marne Valley Hospital, travelling through the Disneyland complex, notably including a major TGV interchange, along with the RER-A termini, and through to Esplit on the Transilly MP line. This bridges a visible gap in the Paris rail network, particularly around a major tourist attraction. So the Tizen is a rarely discussed oddity, a BRT line on the edge of Paris, connecting two RER branches at Gare de Corbeil-Essonnes to Lausanne-Moissy, through a very noteworthy amount of new developments. The Tizen is aiming to become a fully fledged network, kind of like a parallel to how they've developed the tram network, with 4 more lines in the works. Tizen 2 runs from Carré Trait de Union on the Tizen 1 line to Gare de Melun, parallel to the RERD. Tizen 3 is close to central Paris, starting at Porte de Ponton's interchange with the T3B and Line 5, and travels to T4 at Gargan, interchanging with La Folie and Pont de Bondy along the way. Tizen 4 goes back to the Tizen 1 termini at Gare de Corbeil-Essonnes-Zola, going to La Treille along a corridor also served by the RERD and T12. Tizen 5 runs from Grand Moulin with the RERC, T3A and Line 14 to Dr. Renier Marcelot, interchanging with Line 15, the existing TVM and 393 BRT route, RERC and T9. No, I don't know why the EVE and Bordeaux aren't considered Tizen lines. Now the big one. Paris has been doing a lot of tram building over the past few years, and there's more to come in the future. The T1, maybe the granddaddy of modern light rail, has 3 extensions in the works. On the west side, a route from Les Courties to Petit Colombes is planning through the commune of Colombes, interchanging with the Transilien J and the T2. In the planning stages is a project to take this further through Nanterre to Château de Malmaison, passing through an RER and Grand Paris Express interchange along the way. On the east from Noisy-le-Sec, a branch that heads south to the now very recognisable Val de Fontenay, 15 stops in total with a Line 1 interchange at Place Carnot, is being considered. Tram T3B is taking a path from Port Danier to Port Daphne, bringing the dream of uniting the T3 lines into a single loop tantalisingly close, but alas, that dream lives on. The T7 extension aims to fill in a network gap between its current termini at Port de Léon, just south of Orly Airport, and Juvisy Station. This extension has only recently been funded, in part due to local controversy around the need for a tunnel under a park. On the other side of the city, the T8 wants to be extended to Gare Rosa Parks through Stade de France's RERB and Line 15 stop and Line 12's Front Populaire station. Back south, the T10 is a recent opening. An extension north to Gare de Clamart is already in the cards. Both a service and tunnel route is being considered here, owing to the route going through a forest. Just picture a tram here. The T12, part former RERC line, part express tram along a highway, runs from Massy-Palaiseau to Évry-Courcouronnes. This one I believe should be open soon. The T13, also operating along a former RER branch for more frequent service, has opened fairly recently, but will receive a new branch at Achères via Poissy Centre. In early 2022, I was in Paris for a day and I actually took a chance to walk the path of the cable car right at the start of its construction, recording a bunch of footage with it. I didn't make a video on it because I lost the footage. But no worry, here's how it works. Starting at Créteil Point de Lac, the termini of Line 8, it rises over the rail line and highways up to Tam Durab and Emi Combe, taking a turn to end at Bois-Matar. Likely Europe's first urban cable car system aimed at genuine public transport, it will be named for C1, and out of everything here, it's maybe the project to watch in order to judge its success and ability to be replicated elsewhere. In Paris, you can't consider a transit extension without hitting 2 or 3 interchanges along the way. I hope this video helps to give you a view of the big picture beyond the Grand Paris Express and the impressive scale of transit expansion across the city. Thank you for watching.